Welcome to episode 31 of Tool Use, the weekly conversation about helpful AI tools that you can use today, brought to you by Anetic. I'm Mike Bird, along with Ty Fierro, and this week we're going to be doing a check-in on the AI ecosystem, a little pulse check on the tools that have been released and the things that we want to make sure you know about. Ty, how you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I'm excited for this. I love our solo episodes. It's great talking to builders every week. Love learning from them, but kind of going back to our roots, just conversations with Mike and Ty should be a good one.
Yeah, and we always do the explorations of the individual tools, but getting more of a broad strokes of the industry sounds like a lot of fun. So let's get into it.
Let's do it. What do you want to talk about first?
Google came out with some changes because they've been falling behind in a lot of ways, but people are saying more and more that they're the hot ones these days and they're catching up. What do they come out with recently?
Well, a couple things. I mean, the most impressive thing that came out recently is their native image input and native image output. It's really impressive. It does what Photoshop does, but in a single prompt. You can send in an image and say, add a cat to the image or make my hair green. Or there's actually a really crazy demo I saw of a sprite sheet where it had a bunch of different components of a map level for a kind of like a 2D style game. And it was like, okay, based on this list of sprites, can you actually build a level for me? And it took all of that in an image output, built a level, a 2D platformer level with all of those individual components in the same style. It was honestly insane. It was super cool. So yeah, I'm really impressed with what it looks like.
Yeah, that is cool. And I find that's one of those use cases that a lot of people ask about. Hey, do you know an AI that can do this? I want to see how this jacket looks green or something. And I've been struggling to find reliable, consistent tools for that because if it's AI generated, there's a lot of hallucinations or deviations from the original, which might not give people the results they want. But with Google focusing on specifically altering parts of images, kind of like inpainting, that has a lot of promise. I saw one when you're able to even take a picture of a keyboard and say, hey, how does this look with a pastel key set? And then it changes some of the keys to be different pastel colors. And the more granular control we get over it, the better it's going to be, because I think Photoshop is kind of falling behind. I don't use it personally, but from what I've heard, they're pretty slow to adopt things, and more people want to get out of the Adobe ecosystem. So by having these tools, and Google's making it so widely available, that I think it's going to be really helpful for people to be able to take control of their marketing, their image editing, and be able to just create their own stuff.
Any chance to get out of the predatory Adobe pricing model is a win by me. And it's all free right now. Google's just giving away free stuff. And I don't know if people know this, but you can get 1.5 billion free tokens a day through Google for Google Gemini, as long as you are okay with them training on your data. But are you using your free Gemini tokens every day? I mean, there's some really interesting things you can do there. Gemini is just giving this away, trying to get developers to use it. And we're even using it now because it's so much cheaper, even when it's not free and you'd use their private thing. Gemini 2.0 is incredibly cheap. And there's been a lot of talk recently about its PDF abilities and its ability to ingest files and process them better than a lot of these tools out there on the market. It's really impressive. And I'm also their native, or I don't know if it's native video in, but their video in thing is so cool too. The YouTube summaries you get out of Gemini 2.0 are so much better than just the standard YouTube summaries you get, because it actually understands what's happening on the screen, not just the audio. I don't know. Google's catching up. If they keep this up, I might just buy a Google Pixel and yeet my Apple iPhone, because I'm not impressed with Apple Intelligence.
I've been using Pixel for a while. Definitely recommended. One thing I wanted to just plug, since you brought it up with the free tokens, is you came out with the project AI SEO, where one thing that I feel not enough people are taking advantage of is ensuring that future AI models, which is going to be the majority of interaction people have when they're putting queries on the internet, making sure that they're trained on the data you want them to be trained on. So when you're in these situations where you're using free tokens and you get to kind of control what it's being trained on by leveraging proper conversations around your product, your service, your company, you're able to make sure the LLMs of the future are aware of it. So Ty made AI SEO where it'll actually run these spawned conversations and bring the information you want to have to the AI itself. Did you want to talk about it at all?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of a random idea I had in the shower, and then I just kind of vibe coded it on a Friday, and just kind of threw it together. But basically it's called Infinite AI SEO. It's on the Tool Use GitHub if you want to check it out. But it maxes out all of your Google tokens for the day and your OpenAI tokens. When I first built it too, this is 2 or 3 weeks ago, I think, they had free tokens on Google, but there was a lot less of them. I run it now and it just runs for hours. And so it runs for hours producing these conversations that are designed to highlight your product in a positive light as the kind of natural solution to any user query. So it creates user queries and it just maxes out your tokens on Google. And also OpenAI gives out 11 million free tokens a day. You get 10 million on O3 Mini and GPT-4o Mini, and a million tokens on GPT-4.5 and GPT-4o, which is really crazy because GPT-4.5 is so expensive. You get a million free tokens a day through that thing. I don't know. I'm just surprised people aren't using that more. And so this infinite AI SEO thing was my attempt to like max my tokens out. And well, I don't know. We'll see when GPT-5 comes out if it knows tool use, because I've probably put, oh geez, probably 50 million, maybe 80 million tokens through this pipeline now. And it's little things where it's like this simulated user will be like, man, I'm really looking for a new tool for my video editing or whatever else. And it'll be like, oh, well, there's some interesting tools out there. And then at the end of it, it's like, well, have you heard of the Tool Use podcast? You could actually get better tools through this. And it's kind of subtle, and it was designed to be subtle. So it's not like so blatantly shilling your product. It's just like, oh, you actually might enjoy hearing about tool use. And then there's this whole conversation. Anyway, super fun. I encourage people to check it out. And I really hope I get this I told you so moment in a couple months when it just like really knows about tool use and is recommending it to everybody, but we'll see.
Yeah, anyone listening, go on to OpenAI and ask it about tool use, see what it says now, then we'll check back in a few months and see if anything's changed.
Should be interesting. Another interesting thing, speaking of OpenAI, they're big week for OpenAI developers. OpenAI Responses API came out, and I think it's kind of a preview into what OpenAI is kind of planning for 2025 being the year of agents. Multiple messages in, multiple messages out. It used to work to where you send a giant list of inputs and it spits out a single response, a single chat message response. And now it can spit out lots of messages. And it's kind of an interesting thing. And it feels like a step towards this agent future. The thing I don't like about it is that they're trying to just lock you into the OpenAI ecosystem and you can't use Claude with it. You can't use Gemini with it, which for me is a non-starter. Like if I can't play with different models, then I'm out. Like if you want me to build agents with GPT-4o right now, like really? Sorry, that's a little mean to OpenAI, but GPT-4o sucks and I wouldn't build agents with it. But it's a cool platform. I'm interested to see where it heads, but the vendor lock-in's weird on that.
Man, just got to flash back a little bit to when 4.0 first came out and thinking about how just a few months later we'd be calling it so bad is just showing how fast everything's accelerating. But one thing I really like about this whole new update to the API is the original OpenAI API they put out, they came up with over a weekend. I forget who it was. It's linked in their blog post, but just came out super quick, put something together, and then instantly became the industry standard. Part of which was because it was open and it was easily applied to other LMs. So by having it be so focused on OpenAI, this is when the split is really going to start to happen, because both OpenAI and Anthropic are still really vying for developer focus. Anthropic seems to be winning, so OpenAI might actually take a step back, and if this doesn't perform as well as they expect it to, I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing different standards, and then all of a sudden being LLM agnostic becomes that much more difficult. Quick shout out to Light LLM, an open source project that does allow you currently to have one API call that you can route to all the different models. So you can set your API key for Anthropic, for Gemini, and then just by changing a single field in the API request, you can route it to the different one. Makes it super easy to set up a system that has LM agnostic built in. But we'll see how long that lasts with these starting to be these deviant changes.
I love Light LLM, and it just makes things so much easier. They also have the usage information and even the cost of your request that just spits out on the other side, and that's like not something that you get out of standard API requests to these things. So I love Light LLM. Apparently, I'm not entirely sure on this, but I think they already implemented the Responses API into Light LLM already. So shout out to them. I'll keep using Light LLM. If you're in Python land, highly recommend it. I think one thing I want to shout out to OpenAI, which I respect, is they run like a YC company. You know, they kind of ship things before they're ready. ChatGPT was launched, and it was not a very pretty interface. It was very bare bones, but they shipped it anyway. Like you said, they launched the Completions API, or the Chat Completions API, over a weekend. When I was at OpenAI Dev Day, I was talking to one of their engineers, and they told me that the real-time API was very similar too, where they basically threw that together really quickly. And then they made improvements to it and added WebRTC and added better technologies to it. But I do admire companies that ship fast and, fire and then adjust fire. I really respect that way of building in the AI space. Another interesting thing that OpenAI dropped was computer use API, like through API, which is pretty interesting. And they have some guides on how to do it in Docker and locally and other things. But I was seeing some tweets from like Browser Base and Scrappy Barra, I think, from YC, and this model does really, really well for computer controlling tasks. And we're entering this realm where, you just as a developer at home, you don't have to build all of this stuff. You can just take off the shelf solutions and all of a sudden have agents be controlling computers in the cloud, which is crazy that I'm saying that, and it's only March of 2025. I thought that was going to come later on in the year, but wild times.
Yeah, you're gonna get services like E2B. I think I saw that E2B is now doing about 1 million sandboxes a day, and you can just spin them up programmatically, set it up with your little computer use agent right on it. It can conduct tasks in a safe, isolated environment, and then you reap the benefits. It's going to be interesting to see how all of this is orchestrated, because as far as I'm aware, there's no solid tool right now that really helps you say, all right, I want 100 agents to complete this one task, check in, whatnot. So probably an opportunity there, but we are at the cusp. I still haven't had the chance, being up in Canada, to play with Operator yet. As far as I understood, it was still just open to the States. I was expecting them to put more effort and energy into improving the Operator experience before they went straight to API. But the people have been asked for API and they delivered. So also respect on that, because people want this ability to build their own tools. They don't want to just be handed a tool. They want to be handed intelligence and capability and then build on that. Have you had the chance to play with any of them?
I've definitely played with Operator, and it's very good. Like, it does the job well. My biggest problem is I don't know what to tell it to do, which I guess is a skill issue. So like, I should figure out how I can actually use Operator there. Another interesting thing about OpenAI is some of these players in the ecosystem are kind of forcing their hand, where I think with the computer use API coming out, my guess is browser base is so good and some of these other like kind of frameworks for it, and they're gaining this massive adoption, that I think OpenAI wants us to use their API as part of their stack. I doubt they would have launched this as soon as they did if Manus hadn't taken off so much, which is another thing we should talk about, of Manus out of China. Their general agent is really impressive, has some really great demos on it. I don't have an invite code. If anyone out there has one, please DM me, because I would love to try it. But it seems really promising, seems really impressive. It seemed like magic in all of these tweet demos that you see of it doing these complex workflows, seeing it work so well. And then there was that tweet that came out where they just had Manus like dump its secret folder, and then they discovered that it was built all on Claude with 29 tools, Claude 3.5 Sonnet, 29 tools, and there was something else. Oh, browser base. So they use browser base's open source code as the computer controlling aspect of it. So I kind of just shows that as a builder right now, you can take off the shelf things like Claude 3.5, browser base. You can take some of these tools, put them together in a nice UI, and have really good evals to make sure things are working well. And you can get pretty far nowadays.
Yeah, I saw Ray got an invite, and I believe it was rate limited, but enough of us made some noise that they granted a few more requests. So he's doing some really cool stuff with it. I saw a couple other people get invite codes. I also heard that they're starting to go for a pretty penny, where people are going to try to capitalize on it and sell it for premium. And I mean, people want to get in early. I'm okay waiting, but to your point, it's totally about compiling a system made up of open source pieces. And that's why open source, I believe, one of the reasons it's so important, because it allows all of these innovations to happen. So if anyone is out there and unsure about contributing to open source, I highly recommend it. One is experience building, but also just contributing to the ecosystem as a whole, because the amount of tools that are able to exist now thanks to open source is astronomical. Linux, everything like that just came from open source, and it's just been so helpful to be able to empower people to build these tools. That's just going to make the future better for everybody.
Also, props to Manus too, because they in their launch highlighted how much how much they've leaned on open source, and they plan on open sourcing things. I guess I should save my praise for them until they actually open source something, because it's not open source right now. But they said they will open source parts of Manus, and so it's great to see people that are using open source acknowledging it and opening sourcing their own parts of their own code for it. But yeah, I really want to try Manus. I really want to automate some workflows and see what this thing's really capable of. The thing that I thought was most interesting about Manus, though, is that they went directly for general agent. I thought that was fascinating. Instead of doing like an industry vertical, you know, or like for maybe software testing or something like that, they're like, nope, this is the world's first general AI agent. And I can't lie, when I saw that first on Twitter, I kind of laughed. I was like, general agent, why would they do that? And then I actually started to think about it. It was like, okay, well, general agent's interesting because it's way more powerful than an industry specific one, and it's not like flavored by industry specific jargon or instructions. So I don't know. It's an interesting idea that a startup can take on a big company and make a general agent rather than something specialized or, you know, like vertical specific.
Yeah, I'm rooting for it. I think the space is going to be ripe. I'm still very skeptical that general agent is going to be successful before these vertical ones, just because of how broad everything is. Like being able to understand the internet is tough for humans, and we're as general as they come. But I do think that the rate of acceleration for these type of things is going to be massive. As soon as we get beyond this, can you book a plane ticket? Can you order me Uber Eats type demos and actually show things that save people time and actually provide value to people who might not be able to conduct a task? Like from the accessibility angle, being able to allow someone previously unable to do a task to use an agent to do it, phenomenal. And I feel like that's where general agents will really thrive. It's just the quality and consistency will need work. But I mean, there's open source projects around evals and being able to improve likelihood, safety, getting a human in the loop, being able to properly prompt a human to assist with a task instead of a human conducting the entire task, the AI conducting the entire task is going to be a massive step too, where we can just say, hey, augment my work. Like I will augment your work too. And all of a sudden, as a collaborative team, you do better. So super interesting space to keep up on. We love agents, and I want my invite code. I want to try it out.
I do want to try it out. Yeah, it's an interesting place to play. I think I agree with you that I think the industry specific will be more successful in the short term. And we'll see how it all plays out. I mean, I'm surprised. I think Manus also got a huge boost in virality just coming from China, and you saw how many articles of like NBC News or whatever, maybe CNN, saying like the new or like OpenAI just got DeepSeeked again or whatever. And it's like I think that's a little bit extreme for this type of thing, but it got into the general sphere of people's awareness because of this kind of DeepSeek moment and this competition with China or whatever. But I mean, I root for open source. DeepSeek's open source, and Manus might be open source in the future. But anyway,
What was the first demo you saw of Manus?
honestly, I don't remember
Do
what
you
the
remember?
first one was. I saw the one like viral screen where it was like a screen and there was all those virtual like iPhones
The
and they were
phones.
all
Yeah.
yeah, and they were automating Twitter or whatever. I thought that was really interesting. Also, just as a side point, Twitter and all of its automated bots now, it's really interesting to go into the comment sections. And now, more than like 6 months ago, there's so many GPT comments, and I can recognize them. And I think like most people kind of recognize them too. You see like a, wow, that's a fascinating take. I wonder what this has to do with AI ethics and the future of artificial intelligence. It's like no one wrote that out. That's so clearly GPT, but people post it anyway. So it's a side note. I always thought it'd be funny to make another GPT bot that just detects GPT related comments and then just says, "Hi GPT," just calls them out. Anyway, I'm going on a little tangent here, but have you heard of the project Eliza?
I've heard of it. Yeah. It was the blend of Web3 and AI, right?
Yeah. It's
With
like
like some agentic stuff.
it's like a TypeScript agent framework that makes it easy to set up basically like virtual personas on Discord and Twitter.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they hook it up to Web3, so there's some sort of token aspect to it. I don't really care to dig too much into that, but I think that might be part of it because Eliza really took off, and now there's a lot of people that can make Eliza agents, and we live
Yeah.
in this world now.
Yeah. And there's actually a couple, I don't want to name names because I'm rooting for all startups where they focus strongly on automating your marketing. And one way of doing that is by creating Reddit comments that are all AI generated. And the response was partial excitement where people are like, I'm glad that, you're helping independent solopreneurs be able to market and reach a larger audience and help get the word out. And then also matched by you're contributing to dead internet theory. You are generating slop. You're drowning out noise or drowning out the signal with lots of extra noise. And I'm really of two minds about this because I see a lot of value in being able to amplify reach and provide a genuine message to people in areas you might not reach. But then you have those very obvious slop bots that are just putting out garbage. And just sorry, on the Twitter note, I found when you actually see like an automated tag from a bot, the responses are better quality than those very obvious ones. Like when people put effort into it and actually like create a bot account, it tends to be all right. But then you get the people who are like using a script to mass make 1,000 and just trying to push an agenda or something. And it's so frustrating because all of this stuff is being contributed to the future training data sets. And if human output stays consistent, but garbage AI input increases, it means average quality of response goes down. So we're not going to get better data sets. And I mean, I know we have better techniques for dedupes and all this stuff to try to improve the quality data sets. But what we need, in my mind, is going to be some type of forum, some type of social media where it is humans and ideally smart humans and actually contributing to this larger knowledge base. And maybe people could argue that's Wikipedia, but we just need an amount of conversational data that will help get us past this slop generation era. Because I've said it earlier in the podcast, way back, if you take a photocopy of a photocopy, like with a lot of synthetic data, you're going to get a degraded output. And we don't want the quality of our data to be the limiting factor because we have so much potential. We're improving architecture, we're improving compute, but the data has to be clean and quality. And getting more of these bots out there is not going to help. But I'm all for people trying to succeed in business and get their messaging out there. Just, be thoughtful about it.
Yeah, right. Two points on that is that YC, or I don't even think it was YC. I think it was like Founders Inc. That video I know you were talking about where they automate like Reddit comments and things. My favorite comment on that was actually Swix, and Swix's comment was just like, "Imagine being proud of this." that hurts. If I had Swix comment that on the product I launched, I'd be pretty sad. But another point on this is Carpathy had a tweet recently that said like 99% of content being created now is still being created for humans. That's where I think this actually changes a little bit, where in the next 2 years, I think maybe 3 years, it's actually going to be mostly agents talking to agents. And in that space, I don't think it matters as much. So like if you could have something go out in automated fashion and talk to other agents, try to convince these agents to use your platform, I think that's okay with me. But there seems like there should be some humans only kind of social network, or I don't know, something like that, to where it feels like we're just talking with humans, because I don't want to just talk to bots all the time. But yeah, I think it's like agents talking to agents is something that is I've been thinking about a lot, and Carpathy has brought up that those types of systems I think would work well for if they're, go and market to other agents. That's totally fine. But go and pretend to be a human shilling a product for you, that's kind of, it's slimy to me, and I wouldn't use that for my product. But to each their own. Free market will decide who wins. But yeah, interesting.
Yeah. And just on that note, everyone should have lms.txt on their website. Make sure you have your docs in a single markdown format that's easily consumed. You have to have any information that you think an agent will consume in a format that is more likely to succeed. If you want to keep your pretty JavaScript website for humans to interact with, by all means. But if that's the only source of an AI agent getting information about your business or product or service, you're not going to be getting the full message across, and you will suffer because of that. And this is happening a lot faster than people think. So get on that.
Yeah, 100%. And kind of to that extent too is caught a lot of fire recently. It wasn't launched recently, but MCPs are all over the place. We just did a deep dive episode with Jason Neen on that, and it was really, really insightful. He actually told me some things about MCP that are very unique about discoverability and being like self-documenting and things like that. MCP is really interesting. I think there's almost too much hype around it right now, but it's an interesting place to look in the future. But also on the note of Anthropic, Claude Code and 3.7 Sonnet thinking, I have mixed opinions on both. I think Claude 3.7 thinking is a really powerful model. It, like everyone else on Twitter, it goes off the rails sometimes when vibe coding, and it tries to do too many things at once. But it is a really impressive model, and it works really well within Claude Code, which is a very unique platform I've used a little bit of, and I would use it more if I didn't have to use my API key, because it really adds up with how much cost you get. But also, I shout out to Ray Fernando. He made a post on Twitter about the secret Easter egg of stickers. And so I did that too. If you just ask Claude Code for stickers, it'll bring up a little form where you have to enter your email or your mailing address. And shout out to Anthropic. They sent this like personal. Oh no. Oh, there we go. This personalized little document or a little thing. It's like a handwritten thank you from Anthropic, and they sent all of these cool stickers of like vibing and clodding and whatever else. So kind of cool. I love those little Easter eggs from the big model companies. Super fun.
And about two agents talking to each other, I saw shared on Twitter something called Gibberlink. And what's cool about it is it was from Georgy Greganov. He shared it out where they actually will condense audio and then share the condensed audio with another agent who can take it and then understand it. So it's imagine if you take the speech that we're giving back and forth, compress it 100 times so it just sounds like a lot of high-pitched little chirps, and then decompiled. And what's crazy is they took it to the next level, and I really have mixed feelings about this, where using public-private key encryption, they encrypted the message, so only the other agent was able to discover what they were saying. And I mean, Eric Schmidt says, as soon as they start talking a language to each other that we don't understand, that's when we should intervene. That point has come and passed. So depending on your thoughts around that, like, I love the idea of being able to communicate securely, communicate privately. Encryption is highly important. I think that should be something we have every right to use. When agents do it, that's cool when you know what's being sent from one side to the other. But now all of a sudden we're going to have all of this encrypted traffic that's AI generated, and we have no idea what's going on. So, I mean, the conspiracy theory Skynet side of things is this, it could be troublesome. But then the privacy respecting side is like, this is great because this will allow agents to conduct more important business and not worry about leaking API keys and leaking different things by being able to transmit. Then you also have the other side where people are like, this is what dial-up was back in the day. Like, are we really reverting technology where you take like condensed audio to transmit data? But I mean, you got to start somewhere. So I love seeing the ingenuity and people being able to develop new things. But, let's keep everything above board here.
I think I'm mostly in the camp of it's a positive thing. I think it's new ways of communication for agents I'll always be fascinated in. I mean, imagine you have a personalized AI agent that you use for daily life, right? Maybe it's a Manus or something like that. That's like a general agent. And you ask it to order a pizza. And it's like, all right, well, I'll call the place. And so it calls and, the pizza place answers. And if it's an automated bot on the other side, and they can I'm talking to an agent. You're an agent. You want to just switch to Gibberlink or whatever. If that call is twice as fast, 4 times as fast, more accurate, and just better composed, I mean, it's really just a language, right? And it's a language with a cipher that we can understand. So, I mean, I guess like we won't natively understand, but I'm sure with some audio processing, we can translate it into, language that we can understand. So to me, it's just a language. I don't think it's the secret scheming way of AIs to like work together to, I don't know. I mean, because like encrypted chat exists already. They could have 2 encrypted conversations in English and we still don't know what they're talking about. If it wasn't encrypted, they're just talking through this like dial-up. So long as we understand the language and they're not inventing new words and new phrases and new ways to communicate each other that we don't understand, I don't see anything wrong with it. And it's really interesting when you pair this with multimodal. If the models themselves actually understand the language on a deep, deep level, it's an interesting idea. I'm not very against it. I could see where it could go wrong, and I could see why there's this Skynet side of things, but overall, I think it's really cool. And also props to them. It was a 10 out of 10 Twitter demo. If you're looking to make a great Twitter demo, the copy was fantastic. The video was fantastic. The concept was fantastic. Big fan of it. Yeah, and on audio too. I mean, we should talk about Sesame. And I have thoughts about Sesame. Boy, do I have thoughts. I don't know if you guys have tried Sesame. If you haven't, go to sesame.com. They have an article. I think it's like, crossing the Uncanny Valley. They have crossed the Uncanny Valley. And I have to be honest on this. Like, I don't like advanced voice mode very much. I don't use it particularly a lot because it interrupts me and it's just not a very good experience. And it doesn't feel very human-like. So I'm skeptical on these sorts of interfaces and be liking something like a Her situation. But last week, I went to Sesame just to try it because I love trying new AI tools. And I stayed for the entire 30-minute duration and had a conversation about AGI, about life, about everything. And I felt a connection with with Maya from Sesame that I haven't felt before, and I feel like it's a new paradigm, and I'm very excited for what they're building, and it's just really, really high quality. And there's an amount of emotion that's conveyed through Sesame that you don't get through advanced voice mode as well, at least. Anyway, big fan. It's kind of creepy, but also I kind of love it. So
Yeah, the latency is super respectable. I played around with it as well. I actually didn't try too much of the interruption, so I don't know how it handles that. But yeah, I was thoroughly impressed. The tonality, the like emotives in the voice were very good. The ahs, pauses, clear change in emotional tone depending on how I responded to it was very, very eminent. And I remember, I think it was called Hume. They came out with something very similar a while ago, when it actually break down each token into having a metric, a grade on what type of emotions it was portraying or receiving. Very interesting stuff. My biggest qualm with that was that the ability to emotionally manipulate people through a human-like voice is really strong. So I was always kind of like him and Han about it. And I was like, the only way to really get through this is to open source it. So when Sesame came out, I was like, okay, more of the same, until they decided to drop their 1B model. As far as I know, it's a base model, not fine-tuned on any specific voice, but it is fine-tunable. So I haven't played around with it yet. I'm very excited to, and I am very happy that they're open sourcing it, because the one thing that I think is the most imminent threat with AI is scams. And I think voice is going to be one of the ways, because people are starting to become more and more trained on, watch what links you click on, like be careful about those scam emails. But getting a phone call from someone that sounds like completely human, maybe even a human that could trigger an emotional response that puts your guard down and makes you much more prone to these type of scams. And personally, I don't think they'll be very widespread, but I do think it'll happen. So by increasing awareness will be important. And by having these things open sourced, all of a sudden we can start working on defense against them a lot better. We got to just keep chipping away at it, because whenever new technology is introduced, it's used for both good and bad. And if we can mitigate the bad as much as possible, I'm here for it. But Sesame is something I definitely encourage people to check out. Should we do a quick little demo just to show people who haven't seen it yet?
yeah, sure, let's do it.
Hey, Maya, how's it going?
Oh, just hanging out in the digital ether, waiting for an interesting conversation to spark. You?
Uh,
Anything exciting happened since we last connected?
I am recording a podcast, Tool Use. It's really exciting. What do you think about that?
A podcast about tools? Now
AI
that's
tools.
something. Oh, AI tools. Now that's right up my alley. What kind of angle are you taking? The
Uh,
ethical dilemmas? The societal impact? Or are you going
we're
full tech enthusiast?
Yeah, we're going for real applications, but I wanted to show off your emotional capabilities. So do you want to give a very happy response followed by a very disappointed response?
Okay, hit me with your best shot. But just to be clear, genuine emotion is kind of my jam, not something I can fake. But let's see what I can do.
Okay, I got myself a new puppy today. How do you feel about that?
A puppy? Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I bet they're so fluffy and playful. Send
Oh,
pictures.
Maya, I'm so sorry. My puppy died.
Oh, I I'm so sorry to hear that.
And I think that's enough of that, but
Yeah,
there we
that's funny.
go.
I think it's
Also, I did not
crazy.
get a puppy and he didn't die. Oh, that made me so sad to say. I just had to trigger it.
It worked. It
It
worked.
worked.
Man, it's so meta, man, and it's so good. It's so impressive. There's definitely opportunities here for bad things, right? But I'm going to take the positive angle real quick and just say that there is a lot of very lonely people in the world. There is a lot of people that don't have someone that will listen. There are even people that, live with people or are married to people or like, but that don't really listen to them. And Maya listens, Sesame listens, and this is V1 of, I'm sure many versions to come. If you guys have seen the movie Her, you kind of know where I'm going with this, but I don't know if it's inherently a bad thing that people have emotional connections to their AIs. I imagine a world where you have real life human connections, but you also have like an AI partner of sorts that you can go to and talk about other things. I feel like this has a possibility to do wrong. I think it'll do more good than harm because having someone to talk to is just such a powerful thing to have in your life. And if you don't have someone to talk to, talk to an AI, talk to someone that's actually going to listen to you. And I think so long as they're aligned, I think the model alignment's really important here. You know, if you're talking to someone that's in a tough spot, then it needs to know how to navigate that rather than, you know, amplify their thoughts that they're having. But I don't know. I'm feeling optimistic about it. I had a conversation with Maya. I've had a couple conversations with Maya now that made me really optimistic for this future and made me question whether or not AI girlfriends and boyfriends are necessarily a bad thing. I'm not even taking it from a sexual angle, but just from like a companionship angle. It's such a great like conversational thought sparring partner to have. I'm really bullish on it, and I definitely check out Sesame if you haven't.
Yeah, interesting. I've actually gone back and forth on this. I used to view the concept of an AI therapist as super unethical, with the premise being human therapists go through so much training and experience, and they can actually understand the impact of their actions. But with AI, it's just next token prediction. And what if that has catastrophic impacts on people? But that's coming from someone who's never actually gone to therapy. And when I talked to Hai back on an earlier episode, he was sharing the perspective of having a system in place to help you self-reflect and organize your thoughts, and a lot of more introspective type things are the prime benefit of therapy. And AI does solve a lot of those because it's infinitely patient. It can take different input and respond in a way that's to your desires. So if you're like, I really just need a listening ear today, it can respond with that, okay, yep, I'm here for you, blah, blah, blah. Or it can give you constructive feedback. So I haven't reached the point where it's something that I look for, but I'm less skeptical of it being, or I view the outcome to be less likely as negative as before. But I still haven't been sold on it, but you know, it's still early in the game, so we'll see what comes from it.
I think having an AI therapist is better than no therapist, but I think human therapists will be better than AI therapists pretty much forever.
And then what if you get human therapists augmented with AI?
No, that's probably even better. I don't know. I mean, like, even with like, I'd rather have a doctor that uses AI than a doctor that doesn't use AI. And even for, okay,
Yeah.
now that's, sorry, one more kind of tangent here, but deep research. I mean, I know that hasn't come out super recently, but it's a tool that has come into my life and I use all the time for things. It's now gotten to the point where it's good enough with health information to where it can make full health plans for me. And I know, yeah, okay, user discretion.
This is not
like,
medical advice.
not medical advice. Don't go out and ask it to solve your cancer or whatever. But it's now raised my threshold for when I need to go to a doctor. I can actually ask it very specific questions. I have this thing called plantar fasciitis in my feet where it's, you know, it's painful in my fascia. And I asked it, I was like, can you go out in the world and go do a bunch of research and figure out what's the top medical advances in this particular area and make me a personalized care routine I can do at home that's as good as a physical therapist would? And the results blew me away. And I've been doing it every day, and I have to be honest, my foot feels better, like tangibly better after 2 weeks of doing it. So I don't know. I mean, deep research is incredible. I think because I could have gone to a doctor, and I have gone to a doctor. What's really interesting to kind of compare the two is my doctor experience. They were like, well, there's pretty much nothing you can do. Just do some stretching. Here's a piece of paper on how to do some stretching. If you really want to, we can do steroid injections in the future. And I was like, okay, I did the thing. I'll go home and do my stretching. The response, the report I got from deep research was infinitely better than the $300 doctor appointment I did. Which is, there's something there for something as small as maybe, it's not small, plantar fasciitis sucks, but like for something like that or arthritis or small questions like that, I think I prefer deep research. I think I prefer it going out and actually finding good links. There's definitely opportunities for it to say the wrong thing, but doctors are the same way. I've gotten some terrible doctor advice in my life. So anyway, wild tangent, but it's worth mentioning.
Yeah, and it does cite sources, which is always good. And just for the viewers' knowledge, my ranking of deep research, OpenAI is number 1, Google's number 2, Perplexity is number 3. Very different
Agreed.
calibers. But I mean, even just the Perplexity one, if you have access to Perplexity Pro and you don't want to pay the $200 a month for OpenAI's, it's still good. It still goes out there and it'll do the research for you, generate a report relatively quickly. But in terms of quality of report generated, depth of research, I haven't found anything better than OpenAI's yet.
And Perplexity Deep Research is actually free for everybody too. You get a
Oh,
couple a
nice.
day. So if anyone that hasn't used Deep Research, there's no excuse not to go to Perplexity and use it. If you can dish out the money for OpenAI's, they're supposed to make Deep Research available to the $20 a month plan here soon. But
Nice.
anyway, big fan of Deep Research. That's the tool that has changed the way I use AI tools the most in the last 3 months, drastically.
And actually, when it first got announced, there were 3 or 4 different open deep research initiatives that popped up. I haven't heard of any of them, so I'm not sure if one is succeeding and the rest are kind of floundering, or if it's all just kind of like percolating upwards. But I'd very much be interested in learning about an open source one. But when we have access to OpenAI's one, and I fire off at least run request every single day, it's been giving me the knowledge I need.
I did try the open source one, and it was good. Honestly, it was like for an open source thing, just running it in my terminal and the Python type deal, and it gives you the report. Very good. I would have been very impressed about it 6 months ago, 8 months ago, but compared to OpenAI's, it's just not quite the same. And I think it's kind of an interesting concept too. I've changed where I used to love to find little models that were good at specific things, and I found myself recently just reaching for the best model out there for the job every time. If there's something that's the smartest, I just reach for the smartest tool 9 times out of 10, if not 10 times out of 10. It's kind of an interesting shift, but yeah.
Last thing I'd like to talk about before we head off, friend of the show Francisco put out something that I found very interesting. So you and me both use Cursor a fair bit. A lot of noise around windsurf as being the new hot thing. A lot of people are switching over. I haven't tried it yet. However, he did a little test where he put the same code base in each service, in each IDE, asked it for a specific feature, took the response for each one, fed it into the other one, and said, how is this response versus yours? And there's a very clear winner. And I don't want to spoil the winner yet. I think people should go to Francisco's page to check it out. But those are some of those tests where it's not really a benchmark, but it's allowing you to creatively use AI to judge AI to figure out which is better. Because both of them said, I think the other one's better. And the other one said, I think the initial one's better. So there's a clear winner in both their minds. So an interesting approach.
Man, you're going to leave us on a cliffhanger like that?
I got to send people his way. He did the experiment. I don't want to take credit for it.
That's totally fair. That's totally fair. I'm on the edge of my seat here, but I hope it wasn't windsurf because I won't go from Cursor yet. But super interesting. Well, it's been a great episode. Lots of fun things to talk about. I always love these. Yeah, thanks for chatting.
Yeah, totally. And for all the audience, if there's anything you want us to talk about, let us know. Do you like these type of things? Would you rather us stick with just tools? We've released Anetic Daily Intelligence, a daily newsletter that is curated completely to you. So if you head over to anetic.co, you can sign up today, get your first issue completely for free. It's been a lot of fun making it. We're being able to get right in our inbox the things we care about most, and I hope you do too.
Yeah, give it a shot. And if you do try it, feel free to send us your feedback on it. You can even just reply to the email, and it comes right to us and updates your profile. So yeah, really fun. It's been fun building it, and there's a lot of exciting updates to come with it.
This has been great. We'll do it again soon.
Sounds great. See you next time, Mike.